Yep. And yeah. All right. Let's see what happens here with everybody. Let's see if we can get everybody started.
I couldn't decide on a unicorn.
You couldn't decide on a unicorn?
I decided to do these two. Hello. I got these two for Christmas.
What? No unicorns today? That's so crazy weird. How come we not have a unicorn? Oh, okay. At least she got unicorn on her pajamas, so we must be good. So first comment, hugs for all from Kate. All right, so today is different than what we were planning because again we had a total kink thrown in our schedule earlier because of somebody over here.
Wasn't my fault.
No, it's not your fault. It's not your fault, and sometimes we have to roll with the punches. So, as you guys might remember, back on, was it Tuesday? Is that when we went in? We went in on Tuesday, I think. Yeah, so a couple days ago. But anyway, so we took Kate in a couple days ago because she was dealing with a very bad migraine to the point where she wasn't hardly even getting out of bed except for when I made her do that. And so we went in at that point. They did a nerve block, but the nerve block didn't really help a whole ton. While it brought the migraine down to a bearable level, it's still been pretty bad, huh? So today, the doctor called. I love our doctor's office. It's actually a nurse practitioner that we've been dealing with, and she is wonderful. Hello and welcome, Gordo, from Calgary, Canada.
They stabbed me.
They did stab her. So today, like I said, we've been working with this nurse practitioner and this doctor who is just amazing. And the nurse practitioner called and she said, I've been thinking about Kate for the last couple of days. How are things going? And so, we were talking with Kate about it to see kind of what her headache level was. And we went from like a 7-8 down to, what do you think, like a 4-5?
3-4.
3-4, 4-5, something like that. And so we still are not on top of it. And Kate has actually not been without a headache for, I would say, 2-3 months almost.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a while. So today we went in and she got an IV. And like I said, it was unplanned, but it was another 2.5 hours. So we just barely got back.
We got 2 classes done so far.
Yeah.
8.
I have all my classes done.
Yep. Yeah, Kiari's finally done. Woohoo! For as off task as we were yesterday, she was on it today. And while we were sitting there waiting for this IV, Kiari knocked out 3 of her classes, huh?
I couldn't do any.
It was kind of awesome. Nope, you couldn't. It was hard. But anyway, so that is why we're a little off topic today. I was kind of hoping to go back and show you guys a little bit more about some different tube settings and another way to set those. But I guess that is just going to have to be a different.
I changed it to as thank you.
Yeah. But anyway, that's just going to have to be another day. So what I did want to show you, because after our video was done yesterday, we went out and got the mail, and outside in the mailbox were a couple of new tools. So if you guys recall, back like I think on day 12 or something, I had received my Fretz order. At toolcandystore.com, Fretz tools right now are 25% off. And I've never ever seen them that low before. So I totally jumped on it and I purchased a bunch, and part of the order came in and Kurt had shipped it to me before he received everything on my particular order. So then he sent the rest of it, and that's what was in the mailbox yesterday. So what was in the mailbox yesterday, let me turn this camera around here. It was a bunch of things, and it was lovely things.
I can be a magician.
So hang tight just a second. So on this, we have different texture hammer faces. And we had just been talking about texture hammers and things like that. Well, Bill Fretz has come out with 8 hammer faces. And everybody's asking questions about how they work, how do they look. Quite honestly, I don't know how they look. And I don't know how well they work yet, because I have yet to use them. I opened them. I wanted to try them out yesterday, but we ended up still working on plumbing stuff, trying to fix the sink. And so, yes. Okay, but hang tight because so I've got the new texture hammerheads, which I'm really excited about. And then I've got these little magnetic picker-upper things. And everybody's kind of like, well, what do you need that for? Well, why not? Because I can pick up different tools. It's actually so that I can pick up burrs easy if they're steel anyway. So I can pick up burrs, I can hold things like that. And I really like to use magnets in my catch tray to help pick up any of my saw blades or any little filings that are not my precious metals.
You could pick up all the silver stuff over there, maybe.
No, it won't pick up silver. Why won't it pick up silver?
It's not magnetic.
It's not magnetic. So Kate wants to show you a magic trick, but you got to do it like right here. So she wants to show you that she's magic. Check that out. Wow. So yes, I totally ordered 4 of these because I have multiple benches that I work at. So I figured I'd stick one at each of the benches that I do any of my piercing, or, you know, I'm going to put one at my engraving station so that I can easily put down my burrs and stuff like that.
Magic.
So it is totally magic. They're kind of fun. This one, look at this. We've got a polar opposite one. 3 of them. No, so it's just one that's polar wrong. Oh, I don't know. Here. Anyway.
Because look, this one I'll stick to all of them.
Okay, that's good.
But
so
all of these 3 won't stick together.
Anyway, so, you know, we'll have another physics lesson here soon, I'm sure. Well, let me talk to you guys really quickly about these different hammerheads. Okay, because the other thing that I got, I guess before I talk about hammerheads, the other thing that I got was I had ordered incorrectly, and so I ended up with 2 of the 1 pound stamping hammers. But anyway, so I have...
It looks like a bird shaking its tail.
Okay, you guys stop. Okay, so I had accidentally ordered another 1 pound stamping hammer when I really wanted the second. So there are 3 stamping hammers that you can get from Bill Fretz. And stop it. I'll send you up. I'll give you a new homework assignment, dude.
What?
I don't know. I'll figure something out. No. But anyway, so I have now the 3 pound, the 2 pound, and the 1 hound. 1 hound? The 1 hound.
Extra homework assignment is practicing an extra few minutes on cello.
Yes, you do need to practice your cello. Anyway, so on each of them, you have the 2 faces. So we have the polished steel face, and then we have that brass face again. And I love it because it's something that can be removed once it's got enough damage on that you've used it or whatever else. You just replace that brass part.
We're watching 13's minutes.
Nice.
No, it changed.
Oh, good.
There. No.
Oh, you're okay. Okay, so anyway, that's how these work, and I really like them. And when you get these, I want to show you guys, it comes with your Allen wrench or that hex key, but it also comes with an additional hex screw for that, or whatever you call these, you know, so it's kind of your set screw, so it'll have an additional one, and each hammer has an additional one, so if anything ever happens to this one or it wears down or anything like that, then you have an additional in there. So that's kind of cool, and they are really nice as far as the stamping hammers. I remember a little while ago there was kind of this little fad that came out because there was a new stamping hammer, and it was this big old block of square. It was just a big square hunk of steel. But I really like these. These are really nice. So something to look at. Again, toolcandystore.com. Everything is 25% off Fretz wise. And on Fordham, if you place, so here's how you do this. Okay, so if you guys need tools, right now is a good time to do it because, like I said, Fretz is 25% off. But here's a hack for you to get free shipping. If you also order, and Kurt's gonna kill me for saying this, but if you also order $50 worth of Fordham tools, okay, that can be your burrs, your bits, your bobs, that could be a handpiece, anything like that. If you order a $50 worth of Fordham, then he'll throw in the free shipping, because if you use my code, Melissa Rules, although now he's gonna kill me, he's gonna be like, Melissa sucks, but Melissa Rules, as long as you've got that $50 of Fordham in there, it'll apply to your whole order.
Can you leave tips on your order? I'd leave a tip on your order.
Would you leave a tip on my order? Aw, thanks.
If you guys can leave tips on
They can't
orders.
leave tips. But yeah,
Leave tips on orders anyway.
Can you move
Oh, Kiara wants me to show you what she has she has been working on right now. Here you go. She made a tower of hammers.
A hammer steps.
Okay, so let's talk. What?
No. I just making sure they saw.
Oh, they totally saw, honey. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about these textures. When you have these texture hammers, because I had posted a picture out on Instagram and out on my Facebook page that showed my 2-pound stamping hammer, my blocks or my texture hammer faces, and then the little magnetic holder. And so people mistook that these heads can go into this hammer. They cannot. Okay, so this... It'd
be awesome if they could.
Kind of. It would be kind of awesome if they could, but they don't. These textures, the texture heads, work with the smaller of the interchangeable head hammers. So that is going to be your Maker 6, your Fretz hammer number 6, your number 7, or your Maker number 7. Now the question came up about the 107. No, it will not work with the 107. The shank on the head is too small for what would fit in the 107. So the 107 is the hammer that I like to use when I'm forming my bracelets on the stakes. You guys saw that again in another video that we did like a week or 2 ago. So not on the 107. So you need either the Maker 7, the number 7, or the 6. Okay, and the way that this does this, all of these hammers are going to come with a little Allen wrench or a hex screw, a hex wrench, whatever. Okay,
hexy thing.
A hexy thing. So you would just take this out. Oh, that one's not going to fit in there. So it doesn't fit on this side. This side is a little too small. So it'll probably then, let's see if it fits on the other side.
Mama, we're doing it with a hexagon.
A hexagon, you think?
Hexagon.
Okay, so it fits there. So it fits on the flathead side. There we go. So on the planishing face, it will fit there. All right, so that's how you would use this. So it does not, as we just found out, does not work on the smaller side. Can you stop? Oh my goodness. She's over here tapping and making noise. So anyway, it does not work on the side that has the interchangeable metal heads. The Maker 7, I love this hammer, you guys. And again, it's 25% off. So I think it runs like about $114 right now or something like that. Or maybe it was $140. I don't recall off the top of my head. But it's normally a $200 hammer. Okay, like $189 or something. But the thing is that you get 8 hammers for the price of 1 on this.
Where did you get all the cameras?
What?
It's still way too expensive for me to afford.
Oh yeah?
Yep.
Where did you get all these cameras?
Where did I get all the cameras? I had to buy them.
From the store.
Wow.
I found them online or at the store, whatever else. Okay, so anyway, so that's how you would use this. So once you've got this secured on here, and again, you do that just by securing that hex screw. It's in here. There we go. Make sure that's nice and tight. And then, so this is a wavy pattern. What do you think we're going to get with that wavy pattern, Carrie?
Ocean.
You think we're going to get an ocean? Let's find out.
Why is it not doing all of it?
Good question. Why doesn't it do all of it?
Because
let's zoom in a little bit so they can see what it looks like.
Distributed evenly.
Right. It's not the pressure is not distributed evenly. Okay, but also the face on it is just ever so slightly rounded. Ever so slightly. So you end up getting little bits and pieces. But that can be kind of cool if you're using it as kind of a background texture. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. You think? All right, well, let's try a different one. Which one of these should we try? Because there's a whole ton of them in here. So, and that's the thing that you need to realize too, that when you use something like these, they are not going to always,
we should either use
I need a smaller hex screw.
bubbles.
We should use that one.
I need a smaller one on this.
Stripes or bubbles?
You think we should use stripes or bubbles?
Let's try
we should
the
do
stripes.
I need a smaller hex wrench for that one.
They?
I think they are probably over. I wonder if there might be one here, but he might be too small. So the problem is that, well, first of all, they're going to send you a hex wrench for each of your hammers, which is fantastic and phenomenal. But my problem is that I always lose them. Thank you. Let's try that. Yep, that one works, Kate. So tell you what, why don't you come over here and you can put in heads on a couple of these hammers for me, and then we'll give them a try.
Where's the stripe?
There's one that can go on here, and then here and here.
Oh.
So what you do, to use these, let me back you up here just a little bit so you guys can see how to do this, because it shows you kind of how easy it is to work these, and it's kind of nice. So what you do is you just, you loosen that hex screw a little bit. There we go.
Can I do
And then you can insert the hammer head.
This one's...
Yeah, you'll have to use
Which
this one.
one has the
Here.
stripes?
The stripes? I don't know. Okay, so now we have another hammer head that Kiari picked. Okay. So this is similar to the hammer head that we
I need
tried.
the screwing thing.
Okay, you're gonna have to hold on. Kate's got it and she's putting it in.
Sure that's in
Okay.
camera.
Yeah.
How do you
So one of them looks like it's almost kind of the reverse a little bit too.
How do you
Too big.
know if it's in tight enough?
Okay, good question. So Kate asked, how do we know if it's in tight enough? Now here, I'm not quite sure how this
Can I see
hammer
that
fits right here. Oh, do I have the wrong hex screw? Okay. So did that go?
Can I have the other?
Yeah. So hang on just a second, sweetheart. So what you want to do is when your piece is loose, okay, and if there's any kind of orientation, so for instance, the wave one, maybe I want to insert it straight across or up and down, you would just kind of have to pick which way you want that. But anyway, you want to push it so that it goes all the way back as far as it can go.
Yep.
Now on this hammer, there's a little bit of a gap here, and that's still okay. Then what you want to do is you want to take your hex wrench, you're going to put it in, and you're going to tighten it. And I like to make these kind of tight because I don't want it. Yeah, I definitely don't want that flying out. And the thing is with the Fretz system, I haven't really had a problem with his flying out. So let's try this one. Ooh, I like that one.
Which one?
Okay, I like that one. That's a good one.
Can I try one? Can I?
Yes.
But I need to
Okay.
move it.
Here, you need this, the little Allen wrench. Okay, so what would you do if you, Kate, if you had a whole set of all these textures, what would you do? Okay, yeah, you would make art. Hopefully that's exactly what you would do with these. You would want to make some art. But what I would do is I would also, each one of these hammers has a number on it. So, or each one of the heads.
Which way do you
So
turn
this is the one that makes it go tight. So figure that out. Did you figure it out? Okay. So what I would do is I would probably, there's 8 heads. So if I take a square of metal, I can divide it into 8 squares or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And then I would stamp into the corner each number. So it's HTX 1 through 8. So I would, HTX, that's just its part number. But I would just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I would go into each of those squares and I would hammer like that whole square. And then I would have a texture sheet. And it's kind of a cheat sheet. So that way then, if I wanted to use a pattern or something like that on a piece, and I'm not quite sure what pattern I want, I can then go to that little sheet and look at it.
I'd be like, put it, no.
So yeah, so actually when I have the Fretz hammers at the shows, okay, thank you. So when I have the Fretz hammers at the shows, what we do is we have these little white cases, and inside of each little white case, it's like a little gem case, inside of each one of those, we have a disc that has been textured with a different hammer. And of course, each one of those has the number that corresponds to the hammer that they're looking for. And so majority of the time, I find that people, when they are shopping the shows or whatever, and they come to me and they're like, "Hey, I want to buy some." Hang on, just a second, please. Then they say, "I want to buy a Fretz hammer. And which one should I get?" And I will ask first of all, what are you going to do with it? What is it that you want to accomplish with these hammers? And more often than not, they will say, I want to texture, okay? Very rarely do a lot of people that are my audience at these shows like Tucson or Beat and Button or anything like that.
So much more help.
I know, it's Sue Ellen. Very rarely are they looking to use the hammers. That's because I made it really tight so that it wouldn't come off easy. Very rarely are they looking for a hammer to do raising or, shell forming or anything like that. The majority of the time they want this hammer for a texture. So even though the hammer may have a different purpose, they want the texture. So by having these little texture blocks or discs, you can see what's going to happen with that particular hammer, what kind of mark it's going to leave. Now, if I have a head, so in this case, my head is kind of random, okay? They're kind of like wonky squares. Right? So you have vertical and horizontal lines, but each of them are a little bit off a little bit. So yeah, so we have, I wanted it on there for a reason. So that's why I put it on tight. So as you can see, when you put it on tight, it's not coming off easily, which is what you want when you're hammering, especially if you're hammering along. That's because of how you are using it, baby. But anyway, so that's something to think about. But if you have a head that has kind of a vertical or a horizontal pattern to it, so in this case, the pattern in this case goes across, but when I come and hammer in here, maybe I want it to be up and down. So you would want to think about that. And when I create my sample board, I would do a section with it vertical and maybe a section with it horizontal, and maybe even a section where like the vertical and horizontal kind of overlap, just to kind of see what would happen on that.
These things don't like me.
No, it's just that I put them on tight for a reason.
Which ones?
Okay, so let me, Kiara, you are learning about simple machines, right? Mm-hmm. What would this be as a simple machine? Mm-hmm. It's a lever. What does a lever do?
It won't turn.
It will turn if you use it right. Now here's why you're having a hard time. See how there's a short one and a long one?
Yeah.
When you put this in here with the short up here, do you have a lot of leverage? You don't have much leverage, right? And this is how you were doing it. So you were trying to turn with this little one.
But that's how I did it.
But look, if you do it with the long one,
I didn't know.
Watch.
Because the long one had the mark on it, so I didn't know.
But it's okay. But look, now if I put the long one in here, see how much easier that was? Because I have leverage.
I want to check.
Okay. So there's another little physics lesson for you. And one of your simple machines, a lever. So anyway, the other thing too, this maker hammer, you guys, this is one that I was talking about how I do like this. So when I first got started doing some of the forming on the stakes from Bill Fretz, I did not have that number 8 and that number 9 hammer that has the cross peen that is curved. Well, I need that cross peen that is curved if I'm working on an anti-clastic or a concave form. I need to be able to get into there. And the flat ones or the round face, like a planishing hammer, they won't get into that concave surface. So an 8 and a 9 is something that I wanted to have. Now the 8 and the 9 ran about $60 a piece. Whereas this hammer had 8 different heads, including the different heads, similar anyway, to the heads that would be on the 8 and the 9. So it made more sense to spend the money on this one, even though it was a little bit more expensive. So the maker hammer is going to definitely be more expensive than a single hammer, but you get 8 hammers in one. All right, and now with the fact that I can also add these heads to it is also a benefit. Now, without the sale, I want to say that the 8 heads all together are about $200. Lovely. Without the sale. Kate's hanging things on her hair.
No, it's magic.
Yeah, so anyway, that it gives you kind of an idea of what the pricing is. And I want to say, oh geez, what did I pay? Like $150 maybe? Something like that for the 8 heads. I'd have to go look. I should really stop throwing prices out there. So it might be better than $150. I don't think it's more than $150 with the 25% off. So yes, it's unknown. I meant to look. Oh, and then I wanted to answer questions from yesterday. There was a question about what was the surface of my soldering board. And I did some research and I do not know. All I do know and was able to find out that it is an asbestos-free, heat-resistant material. That is how everybody describes that. So I'm not quite sure what that is made of, but I do know that it's meant to withstand that heat and kind of help reflect it back onto your pieces, and that it is asbestos free. It's kind of a medium weight board, so it's not hard and it's not soft. So I would put it as comparable to maybe like a hard solderite board, maybe a little bit softer than a hard solderite board, but definitely not as soft as a soft solderite board. So hopefully that answers that question. And then I believe, oh, who was it that asked yesterday about doing a 2.5 millimeter tube set? And they were asking why they would not, why they were not able to find a 2.5 millimeter pre-made tube setting. And I happened to mention that it's going to be very difficult for you to find one. And that's because the tube settings that are created are typically in hole sizes. So you can find them in 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. And I don't even think I've ever seen one in 10.
7.
They did skip 7. 7 is actually not normally a size that you would find a round stone.
Then they skipped 9.
Yep, they skipped 9 as well. So, I know. And next year you'll be 10, and maybe we'll make a stone with a 10 millimeter stone for you or something. What's that? All right. So Sue Ellen Kate says thank you. She looks like she's feeling better. She's definitely feeling better than she was Tuesday, but she's still not feeling fantastic.
Oh.
Unfortunately, huh? All right, so
I'm feeling better though.
When it comes to those tube settings, you have to find the tubing yourself. And so if I were trying to do a 2.5 millimeter tube setting, I would try to do a 3 millimeter tube, a 3 millimeter outer diameter tube with a thick wall, okay? And a thick wall means that your wall thickness is going to be at least, I want to say, I know it has to be at least 0.5 millimeter thick. It might be thicker than that. I'd have to go back and look at my notes off the top of my head. It's just not working. But anyway, you want that thick wall so that you can then drill a seat into that so that you can use that to set your stone. I do have some videos out on YouTube here on my channel. Just type in Melissa Muir tube setting and you'll see those videos pop up, and it goes through kind of what to look for that. But anytime you're doing kind of a half size or an odd size stone, you're going to have to either create that tubing yourself or you create a tube setting out of a thick walled tubing. Okay, you don't want the thin walled tubing. If you do the thin walled tubing, you do not have enough material there to drill your seat into place and still have enough of that material to bring over the girdle. Now the girdle. So that was another thing that I neglected to tell you guys yesterday because it was such a long video and I wanted to hurry and get off and get the girls back to doing their homework. But when you are setting a stone like that, it does not take much to hold that stone into place. Why do you keep kicking me?
Because I'm trying to rotate my chair and then it keeps hitting.
Anyway, so you do not need much material to hold that stone into place. You want to just barely come over that girdle. I also do not want my table to be too far down, because if my table is too far down, Little copycat. If my table is too far down, well, good, then maybe this will make you remember it more. Then you are going to fold too much of your material over that. So that is something that you need to kind of remember as you're doing this. And the same thing applies to when you're setting anything like a bezel or anything. It doesn't take a whole lot of metal. So anytime you see people who have their bezel set, and there's a couple things that will kind of stick out as a bad setting. If you've got a whole bunch of wrinkles and bumps, okay, definitely don't want wrinkles and bumps on your tube setting. Definitely not. So if you have all the wrinkles and bumps, that's going to be one issue. Or a lot of times it looks like the stone is hidden because it's covered so much with your metal.
Maybe the wrinkles and bumps mean it's getting old. The cover is because it's hiding in a hole.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. You don't want it to hide in a hole and you don't want it to get old.
What was the hairy metal texturing tool that I showed the other day? Is it Fordham, and where can we get it? Yes, I think you were talking about the one with the little spikes on it.
What? The little hammer spike?
Yeah, I think
hammer spike?
I think, are you talking about this tool, Louise, is this the tool you were talking about? So this one is through Fordham, yes. And, okay, perfect. So yeah, I love these. And there's 4 different ones. And they have different sized spikes on them. And the different sized spikes give you a different texture.
The old hammers that they used to take out and they go
and club each other with. And they come larger too. There are some larger ones that you can put onto a bench lathe or a polishing lathe. So there are more of them. Yes, these are through Fordham, and you should be able to find these at Micro Tools. So the toolcandystore.com. So just toolcandystore.com. You should be able to find that. Oh, Bobby, was it you that asked about that? So I'm glad. Hopefully that clears that up. But like I said, I have a bunch of videos that are out there, including one that shows how to create a tube setting with just a tube, a thick-walled tube. So there is that video that's out there.
I wish Riley was watching this video.
You wish Riley was? Yeah?
She'll watch the movie.
Yep. Hey, Riley will be home in 2 weeks.
Hey, Riley.
Poor Riley will be unemployed. She found out yesterday that her job that she was hoping she would have here, right now they don't have a whole lot of openings, and they've kind of promised the time to the people who are currently working there. So
Hey, Riley.
She may be home.
If you watch this video in the future, you should leave a comment and you should say that we're amazing.
Of course we're amazing. How could we not be?
Doesn't
All right, you guys. So this one was not as of much of a formal education, but at least we got to kind of play with the different textures. And
31 minutes.
So Kimberly, you said I ordered Fretz hammer petite 13 from Micro Tools. Oh, I'm so glad. Well, thank you, and I hope you like it. I love the Fretz hammers. They're sexy. I mean, as a piece of art, look at how pretty that is. And they feel wonderful in your hand. They're well balanced, they're well made. And I'm really hoping that life gets back to normal, because come mid-July, I'm supposed to spend like 4 days in Bill Fretz's studio. And that sure had better happen. Is that your mask?
Yes.
I don't think that that's like a CDC approved mask. Definitely no HEPA filter in that one.
What?
All right, you guys.
Filter in a blanket. That can happen.
Oh,
right?
Kimberly, you're gonna love it, and you're gonna be addicted, and pretty quick you'll be as bad as me.
It's her second one.
Yeah, you can never have just 1 or 2. No.
Second Fretz hammer.
Welcome. You have fallen down the rabbit hole.
There's a lion on my blankie.
There is a lion on your blankie. Yes, well, but still. All right, you guys.
We lost. There's now a lion.
Okay, it is 0.51 millimeters thick, so it is 0.5 millimeter thick. Perfect. Gordo, that's wonderful. So Gordo said Rio's heavy walled tubing is 0.51 millimeter or 0.122 millimeter thick. So you want the 0.51 because you want 0.5 millimeter, because what's going to happen is when you come down and you drill into this, then you're going to remove half of that, so 0.25. No, is that, yeah, 0.25 on either side. So that way then you still have a little bit to move over your metal.
She said thank you.
Yeah, to Gordo, she said thank you. So,
Gordo, you
you
said
guys,
thank you.
I think we're gonna call it a weekend. This weekend, I'm getting rid of the girls. They're actually gonna go over to my parents' place.
I'm not.
And yes, you are. Kate, my
No, I
mom,
don't have to.
and Kiari are going to go make masks.
I'm kidding. I really want to go because
I know.
I haven't seen them in forever.
I know, it's been a while
Well,
since
not
we've seen
forever.
Grandma and Grandpa.
Like a
But
month
they,
or
okay,
two.
shh. They are gonna go
Why?
make masks
Mm.
for our healthcare workers. So we have 20 of them at least that we're gonna make, maybe more. Anyway, you guys, I'm going to be working in the studio. I cannot wait, get it cleaned up and get it organized, and I'm gonna set some pieces because I'm going to finish up doing the setting on this. And
wonder
if
if
I can
Grandma
get it
ever
to the
watches our
point
videos.
where it is good enough, and I'm also gonna finish up our pendant that we started. If I can get it good enough, then I promise I will show you guys in a video how I'm doing it and what I'm doing.
Actually, I
But
don't
not the
think
first time
Grandma
around.
ever watches the videos.
What's that?
I don't think Grandma ever watches it.
Yeah, Grandma might not watch our
I was
videos.
gonna
She
say-
should, then she could get her daily dose of you too. All right, you guys, you have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, wash your hands.
Probably stay home unless you don't
Stay
want
6
to.
inches
But if you don't-
away. But you can stay close to your
6 inches
family.
away, 6 feet.
6 inches.
6
Then you
feet?
can give
It's
people
6
hugs.
feet away.
I thought it was 6 inches.
No, how much is 6 inches?
No, it's 6 inches.
Like 6 inches is only like that, right?
So stay this far away.
I mean,
Still give hugs.
I mean, you
can still give hugs.
like stay 6
Really?
feet away unless
You're welcome.
like you can
Tina.
stay with your family, not 6 feet away.
I'm very,
Especially if you're little.
I'm very, very, very fortunate that I at least have 2 kiddos, huh?
What would you
Okay,
so
I gave them a bye and a heart.
Oh, good.
what if you have a kid and you have to stay 6 feet away from it?
Then you celebrate.
Like a baby.
You go, woohoo!
Baby.
I don't have to take care of you.
What if it's a baby?
But you are my baby.
No, like a baby, like a newborn.
That would be kind of nice. I think you'd have to break the quarantine for that one, don't you
Yeah.
think?
Forget quarantine.
All right, you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. We will see you guys back here on
Bye,
Monday.
everybody. Have a happy unicorn day. Have a happy mermaid day. Have a happy dragon day. Have a happy fairy day. Have a happy
day.
mythical creature day.
I think we covered it. Have a good one.
Bye, everybody. Have a
Have
fun
a good day, week,
weekend.
life, year.
Bye.
Bye.
Day, week, life.